Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today, or this series of videos, we are resurrecting the dead. Yeah. Yeah, nobody in there. Sorry. We're resurrecting the car. We are resurrecting the car. We have it is a 1986 Funeral Parlor car made by Cadillac, and it is powered by a V8 Oldsmobile 5.0 carbureted engine. One of these. 1986. 1986 was the worst era for the most smog crap on a car in America. I think that was the peak of how much crap and vacuum hoses and devices and gadgets and thingamabobs you could attach to an engine to make it run cleaner. Not clean, but cleaner. So, there's a lot of stuff going on, right? This is a quadrajet carburetor. Quadrajets, a lot of people didn't like them, but they're actually not bad if you know how to work on them. Super complex, kind of like the Solix is on the German cars. They work across a big variety of ranges, as a simple carburetor only works at a certain range of RPM. This carburetor actually has a throttle angle sensor inside the carburetor. A lot of stuff going on here. So the problem with this car is it is pushing combustion air into the cooling system. Here's a video. Okay, crank it. All right, stop. All right, that's interesting, huh? That's a lot of air. So anyway, right now cylinders 1, 3, and 5, which are the 1, 2, 3 on the driver's side, they're flooded with water. I helped a buddy of mine swap out. This thing overheated like 5 years ago, like really bad. It was parked, it was storaged. Last year, like over a year ago, I helped my buddy do a head gasket set on it. We pulled the heads, had the heads reworked while they were off, put new head gaskets, put it together, fired it up, ran good, drove good. I couldn't really load test it, like load or road drive it, because it had really old rotted tires. It has 4 new tires on it now, but you know, with 22 something year old tires, I didn't want to take it any further than around the block, which was a good thing because my buddy took it out for a road test, blew a tire, overheated the engine. And this was after he was trying to get it to pass smog or emissions test here in California. It was not doing it. Brought this back here. This actually drove here on its own power, but came here with about 2.5 gallons of water missing out of the cooling system. Blew that out. I don't think the over temp light works, so this thing could have been totally cooked. Anyway, a lot going on with it. First, I gotta figure out what's going on with the head. It's driver's side only. I gotta pull the intake. I'm suspecting there were some noises in there. I'm suspecting a fried lifter. Something going on with the valve train. This was prior to it overheating. When I got involved, this thing was really cooked way before my time. And I'm not talking just overheated, like cooked. So I did do a compression check. All cylinders are above 140 psi, which is a good sign. That doesn't mean the rings are not seized up to the pistons and it's gonna, you know, burn oil. Don't know, I'll have to reevaluate that when I pull the head. I'm only pulling the driver's side. It's the easier side. There's more crap over there. To pull that head, you have to pull the air conditioning pump and the air pump, or the smog pump. On this side is only the alternator, and I believe the power steering pump. And I guess the power steering pump needs to be dislodged too. But to get that head out, I'm going to leave the exhaust manifold in the car attached to the pipe. I'm just going to unscrew it from the head and leave it hanging. Least amount of work. Not going to pull the distributor, leave it as is. That doesn't really affect, so I got to get all this stuff off of here. Got to get the bracket off that supports the pump over there so I can free the intake. I'm going to pull the intake. I'm going to crank it to see if I can see push rods going up and down, and check the lifters while it's all exposed before I pull the valve cover. If all that looks okay, I'll go ahead and proceed, pull the valve cover, see what's going on under there. I also need to check some of these motors. Back in the day, the cam gear, so there's a cam gear and a crank gear, and had a double chain going over it, like a double wide chain. The cam gear was coated with like these plastic teeth, where there were nylon, Teflon, whatever. Over time, that stuff like broke up and went brittle, and all the coating off of the metal teeth fell off, which gave you a lot of slap in the timing, which means your cam is running way behind. I checked the timing with a timing light before I took the plugs out and everything, just to see where it's at, 'cause sometimes retarded timing can cause engine overheat. So I checked that. It was actually advanced. It was running 20 something degrees advance at idle. So I don't know, just checking for all the obvious things. When I first got to the car last year, I was just under the impression it was a blown gasket. There was water in the #1 cylinder, and that was it. I pressurized, you know, the radiator with my pump, and I got water in there. So I'm like, okay, we'll just swap the head gaskets. I kind of checked for things, but didn't see noticeable damage to the head or the block. But anyway, when we did put this thing together, it actually ran good. I did pressure test it and everything, and there was no water leakage anywhere. So this started after the fact, after it was initially restarted when we fixed it, and it ran good. It needed a lot of fine adjustments. A lot of the smog stuff needed to be worked. Needed a throttle angle position sensor. Needed a new EGR valve. But you know, got the check engine light extinguished, and but then it never got it failed the initial smog at the 15 mile an hour. It passed at the 25 mile an hour, or where the two speeds are. It failed at the slower one. So I was just gonna look over the smog, but now with this thing, you know, blowing the gasket or got something going on in there, it's got to come apart. This is a, you know, work as I have time type of a job. I do want it out of here. I do want it fixed and gone, but it's going to be a lot of fun to work on it. These things are pretty cool. The first engine I ever built as a kid, I was probably around 15, 16, was one of these Oldsmobile motors. The one I did was a 5.7. This one's a 5.0. Same difference. When I took it apart the first time, it brought back memories. That was pretty cool. But anyway, I'm gonna film most of this. I'm gonna probably set up a tripod with a cordless mic or something, kind of babble on about it. But first thing is I gotta, you know, make room here. I gotta get one of my tool carts out, so I got a place to set things, because this is all gonna get full of crap, and I don't want to put it on the floor. I might, yeah, get my tool cart out of the thing over there and clean some space. I've been working on other things. The bench is your general state of a mess, but anyway, I'll get going on this here. All right, got me a wireless mic. I do have music going in the background. I stopped caring about the copyright on the channel. Don't make any money anyway. Don't have enough subscribers. I wear the head cam on disassembly just so I can document in case I forget what was going on at the time I took things apart. These are these crazy, when America went to semi-metric. It's not a 1/2 inch, and it's not a 9/16. It's one of those things in between, which is sometimes a 13. Yeah, there you go. That was one of the worst eras. It's a 13. It's one of the worst eras, was the 1980s for American cars. They started switching to so-called metric, but they basically went to the nearest thing, which was not the standard, you know, European or anything else. They weren't using like 10, 12, 14, which is the Europeans. Some French stuff used 11, 13s on things. 9s were really weird. You never had in Europe, you never had really a 15, 16, or an 18. But all those tools are needed for the 1980s American cars. It's all over the place, so you need a whole bag of things to work on these. I'm gonna work on removing all of the crap that doesn't need to be on the car, so I can get to the actual bolts. The first step is just I should get a 13 probably going. Make this a lot easier. I do take pleasure in hand cranking the nuts and bolts sometimes, but sometimes I just need it to be like done. Put some of these where they go. That goes there. We got an 8mm. So let's pop this alternator off. That guy's gonna be probably a 5/8. There's a 13. Nope. I document the washers. There's a lot of spacers in a lot of these things that have pulleys to line up the pulleys.
I'm done. Get some of this spaghetti out of here. Get some of this spaghetti out of here.
Got the, there's always the last vacuum hose holding it. Well, there it is. There you have it. So the head gasket is completely blown, which is crazy. I think it was just a bad product. It barely lasted. You could see it blew in between right there, right there. It was starting to blow right there. Didn't quite blow into this guy yet, but you almost don't even see where it was pressed down over here or over here. Like you should see a solid, clean part like that, but here it's gone completely. I don't know if that was after the fact that it was overheated or before. You could see here it's completely destroyed. You can see through it. It's just cooked. I don't know if the camera can like see the reflection of that socket there. But you can see through it. It's kind of out of shape. It's not even round anymore. It's like it got squeezed out. Yeah, which means I'm not trusting the other side that went in there. This looks like I'm gonna have to pull the other head off and redo the gasket. But this is just crazy. This was a last minute purchase from O'Reilly's or something. I don't know what brand it is, but it's all they had locally. I'm kind of disappointed. I think this is a failure of a product, not labor workmanship, which sucks because got to do the job twice. Anyway, that concludes this episode. I got to figure out what the path is going to be forward here, but I'm guessing I'm going to pull the other head and just replace both gaskets, put it all back together. I want to put a straight edge on it also, make sure that that block is straight or flat. I know the head is because the head was machined. The head came machined, so I'm not concerned about that. Definitely that wasn't the cause, but I'll put a straight edge on the block and see what it does. Anyway, back to the rest of my Saturday. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next episode of this resurrection. Thanks for watching, and until next time.